We are once again looking at text structures, and we are going to concentrate on order and sequence. If you take a look at the picture here, it gives you an idea of what order or sequence means. It's essentially placing the events into an order or a sequence based on a criteria. Now the thing is, there are many different criteria, and we're going to outline the many different types of order or sequence text structures that there are. So this section is going to be a little bit longer than the others. One of the first things is chronology. Now chronology is the order events occur in time, and they do not deviate from the timeline. You can't shift it, you can't change it, it is simply the order in time. If you take a look at the graphic, it is a historical timeline. That's an idea of chronology. There are signal words that are typical to chronology, and they often are prepositions, like in ancient times, at the start of the battle, on October 10th. Or they could be time words, the first settlers, later efforts, then, before, after, during, by the time, while, afterward, meanwhile. There are many, many different time words, and many of them will qualify as signals for chronological order. There are also many different types of graphic organizers that would help with this. Take a look at Google and see all the different graphic organizers that might help. Now these graphic organizers are going to help with any of the ones in order. So you might need to think about what's your purpose and see which graphic organizer fits. Now we've just learned about chronological order, and now let's look at sequence. Sequence is a little bit different. Chronological order cannot deviate from a timeline, but sequence can. Sequence can tell and order events in the way it needs to be understood. That means it can draw on foreshadowing and flashbacks and any other technique to clarify order. It's going to have the exact same signal words as chronological, but you just have to think, have I gone out of time order in order to explain something or to understand something? In which case, if you've gone out of time order, you are no longer in chronology, but you are in sequence. It's a very small difference. This is process order. This one is looking at procedures and steps, or essentially the way an action should be accomplished. This graphic is a company talking about what happens when there's a customer inquiry. These are the steps that should be taken. Many businesses have this. Almost all organizations have processes defined, because if there's a process that's defined, then people know what to do. There is also the order of importance. In the order of importance, everything is organized based on priority, preference, or status. I want you to take a look at reduce, reuse, recycle. In reality, reduce is the most important there. If you reuse something, yes, but we've still gotten those resources. And if you recycle them, we've gotten those resources and then we've had to put energy into recycling them. But reduce is the most important. So, if you are going to write or read and it has order of importance, the first thing is the most important. It's ranked higher, elevated, or emphasized. There are signal words that go along with this. The most essential, the most important, more revealing, of primary interest, first, next, last, and primarily, secondarily. These are among the words that will convey order of importance as a structure. Now there's also spatial order. Spatial order organizes simply based on physical location, position, or order in space. if you take a look at this graphic, spatial order could start on the top floor, go to the stairwell, and go to the bottom floor. Or spatial order could start at a wall, go across the room to the next wall. There are many different ways that spatial order could be organized, but they should flow one to the next in a recognizable, predictable pattern. Accordingly, the signal words that go along with this tend to be direction-oriented. Left, right, center, upper, lower, mid, outer, inner, beneath, above, beside, next to, internally or externally. All of those convey spatial order. Now, the thing is, you have to know your purpose. What are you trying to describe? What are you trying to convey? And based on that, there's a purpose that will fit you. All of the ones about order and sequence have a specific purpose in mind. You have to know it as a writer. You have to recognize it as a reader.